of the night, and I went like 2 o'clock in the morning. I desperately was trying to tune in to see what was happening, but then I couldn't see the live stream anymore, and I was worried. I went to, early in the morning Mangalati, and I asked, but they didn't have any news. So then, anyway, I went to Rupsanath and Mangalati, came back to my room. I was sitting and I was thinking, I was just only thinking about Uma Didi, chanting and thinking about her. Then I got a message from Sudevi Didi, and she said, Uma Didi's leaving, and as soon as I got that message, I dropped everything and I ran, and I can't run so fast, but I ran the fastest I could possibly go. And I got there in Gopinath Bhavan, and I went into Uma Didi's room and I saw Ranga Didi and someone else. Oh, Yasadari Didi. I think it was Ranga Didi and Yasadari Didi. And they were crying. And I said, what's the situation? And they said, Uma Didi's left. So I thought, I got there too late. But they said 2 minutes ago she left. And I saw devotees were doing kirtan. There wasn't that many devotees, maybe, I don't know, not more than 7, 8 doing kirtan, surrounding her. And she was lying there and she looked so beautiful, so peaceful, so effulgent. Her mouth was a little open and she was looking to the side, like as though she was looking towards Gurudev or her Gurudev, Thakurji. She looks so young, really amazingly young, like a young girl. So anyway, of course, paid pranams and joined in the kirtan. And then, devotees were arriving. They were coming gradually more and more to pay their respects. And kirtan started outside. I joined the kirtan. And many devotees were, you could see, very touched and crying. So much deep mood. They were doing kirtan. Very, very nice. And then at some point someone came out and they said, anyone who hasn't had darshan can go in for darshan. So I rushed in again and others went in. And I saw, and this time Uma Didi's mouth was closed. And yeah, she looked different from when I first saw her. And I heard that Vrinda Didi said that she, even after she left, she was trying to close her mouth. I don't know how that's possible, but that was the situation, that like this miracle. So looked so beautiful, effulgent, young.
Charu?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We have so many devotees who want to share.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, so I'll just say that, just to finish up. So anyway, later they carried on the kirtan. Later they took Uma Didi in front of Thakurji. Everyone came, so many came. They circumambulated her, they offered garlands, they offered flowers, they offered so much. And I was there when they cremated her body, and everything went very, very smoothly. And the atmosphere was very amazing. So I just want to finish by saying just one small memory of of Uma Didi, that after I had my accident, any time that she would see me, she would always say, "Oh, you are Gurudev's miracle." And that always touched my heart, because actually it was a miracle that I was saved from that accident. Definitely Gurudev saved me. And she was reminding me that, you know, you were saved for a purpose. It means that don't waste your time now, don't waste your life. Always do bhajan, serve, preach, like this. So I'm totally indebted to Uma Didi. I first met her in 1996 in Shikeshji Gaudiya, and I always would go and hear her Hari guitar, and she always would give very powerful Hari guitar, and always touched my heart how she had completely imbibed Gurudev's mood and how she was so humble. She was definitely known for her humility. She was the embodiment of humility. So I guess, one just very last point, I'll say that she was completely fearless, completely bold in her speaking. She would never, ever hesitate to speak what she felt, even if that truth that she spoke was what's the word, maybe not so easily digestible, but she spoke anyhow. And always whatever she spoke was so powerful. It would always touch people's hearts in a very, very deep way. Mm-hmm. So she was certainly empowered. She wasn't an ordinary devotee. And I pray to her on this day that she always bless me, like she's always blessed me. She continues showering her blessings upon me and everyone. And I beg that wherever she is, that she bring me there when it's my time, because I know she's must be in transcendental abode of wherever Gurudev is, wherever her Gurudev is. So please forgive me if I've taken up so much of your time. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. And Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripasindhubheva Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shrimati Uma Didi Ki Jai.
Anyway, thank you so much, Charu. That was really heart-touching. And you've given us a little bit of history and also what was happening right now at the present time. So, because you're there personally, so we really appreciate hearing that. And I know it's quite late in Vrindavan, and Yashodhari is also with us. Because it's late, I was going to call on her next. Labanga, is that okay with you? Because we were expecting you to speak at about 6:15. Labanga, are you there? Oh, what happened to her? Oh, Labanga, is that okay with you? If Yashodhari, okay. Yashodhari Didi, are you there?
Haribol Didi, Dandavad
Yeah.
Pranams.
Okay, Jai. Thank you.
Haribol.
You were also there.
Yeah. I will explain. Maybe I will explain that only.
Yashodhara, it doesn't seem to be.
I don't know how much I can explain. Okay, can you hear me now?
I can't hear you.
Is that better?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Not really. It's broken.
All right, 1 second. Let me move to a different location. Let's see if I can get some more.
I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's better.
It's back? You can hear me now?
It seems to be okay, yeah.
Maybe I will turn my camera off, then that way you probably just be able to hear my audio.
Yeah,
and then that would be enough.
going off a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, the Wi-Fi in our house has stopped working. So can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. And now you can hear me. If I stop
Perfect.
speaking,
It's
okay, wonderful. Okay, so I will just try and explain something. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishima Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Itinamine. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radha Govinda Priyatmane Shishima Shila Bhakti Jivanacharya Itinamine. First of all, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev. Nitila Pravisht Om Vishnupada Stotra Sat Shishima Shila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. And at the same time, offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Srila Bhakti Jivan Acharya Goswami Maharaj, who both have given me a new life and light. And on this auspicious day, I would also like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my my mother, my friend, my Shiksha Guru, sorry, Shrimati Uma Didi, and Shrimati Umarani Didi, should I say, because she is the queen of hearts. It's been a very eventful couple of days for me and Vipin Prabhu. As some of you already know, or maybe some of you don't know, that before I met Srila Gurudev, I met with Uma Didi first. And it's because of her that I was able to meet Srila Gurudev. So when I first met Srimati Uma Didi in 108 Ganga Matas in Plaster, the older mutt, I came with ripped jeans and some various clothing and, just nonsense. Even now, actually, I'm still nonsense, but even then I had no thing. And I remember coming in and coming to meet with Uma Didi. And the first thing she said to me, she could have said anything to me, anything at all, but she says, "Oh, what are you wearing?" And I said, "Oh, these are my jeans." And she said, "Oh, can you not afford a new pair of jeans?" And I said, "No, this is fashion." She goes, "What kind of fashion is this? You look poor." I said, "You know what? I'm just never gonna wear. I'm never gonna wear ripped jeans ever again, or at least in front of her." And that was my first interaction with her. And I remember when I first met her, I knew she was someone special. She had a connection with Srila Gurudev. And I just burst into tears when I first met her, and I prayed to her and I said, "All I want to do is meet Srila Gurudev. All I want to do is meet Srila Gurudev." And she tapped me on my head and she said, "Don't worry, you will meet him. You'll meet him." And the following week, Shamarani Didi came and I met Gurudev. So I knew from then that her words would be Paka. That whatever she would say, it will come true. I knew from that moment she had this tendency of not being able to lie very well. If she didn't like something, she would say it. She couldn't hold it in. She would just say it to you, "Okay, no, I don't like it," or whatever it was. She would just say it how it is. And there was no malice in her when she was saying those words. It was very it was coming from a good place. Even if it sounded very harsh, it would come from a very, very beautiful and wonderful place, because I'm very fortunate to be surrounded by many Vaishnavas and God brothers and sisters of our Sangha. But she was one out of a few people that would worry about my sadhana, worry about my bhakti. And she wouldn't just worry about my bhakti. She would ask about everybody. Whenever I would meet her in Kartik before I got married, she would be like, so, the London Sangha, they're okay? And I would be like, yes, Uma Didi, they're fine. And their bhakti? And I said, I don't know, Uma Didi. She goes, well, you should know. Because their bhakti is important. And this is my blessing. I want that their bhakti grows. And so she was never concerned about anything else. She never wanted, like, even if I gave her money, it would be like, okay, she would just take it and put it to the side. Just like Gurudev, you hear so many times Gurudev had no really relationship with the money that you gave him. You could give him a rupee or you could give him millions and it would make no difference to him. And it was the same with Uma Didi. You could give her, like, I remember giving her like thousands pounds and she would be like, okay, and just move it aside because she was more worried and concerned about my bhakti than she was anything else. So this is the caliber, this is the friend, this is the mother that I've grown up with in bhakti. And there's so much to say about her. I've spent so many years of my life, and actually all of my years of my bhajan with her. Maybe not physically, but I've spent many years, and especially in London, I would have the opportunity to drive her or host her or many other various seva she would give me. So there's many memories that are coming up, but I want to kind of speak about exactly what happened last night, so that you're all aware of the strength she has, the person she is, and she remained till her last breath. So myself and my husband, Vipin Bihari Prabhu, came from Faridabad. So we got the news a couple of days ago before that. So 4 or 5 days before, Uma Didi's kidneys were failing. So we received a message saying perhaps we will bring her to Faridabad. So please prepare for you. Because also when she had her heart attack, she also came to Faridabad. So we looked after her then also, and made arrangements then. And then so we thought, okay, it will be the same situation. We will arrange for her to meet with a specialist kidney doctor in Faridabad. But then we got a call again saying that her health is deteriorating and we don't want to move her out of Vrindavan. She doesn't want to leave Vrindavan. She requested herself also that she doesn't want to leave Vrindavan. So at this point, Vipin and I were deciding on whether to leave to go to Vrindavan or not. And I said to Vipin, I have no idea what to do at this very moment. You make the decision and I will go accordingly to you. And he made the decision to leave that very day. And Mother Prabhu also came with us in the car to Vrindavan. As soon as we got to Vrindavan, we went straight to the hospital. And she was in ICU. They wouldn't let us go and see her. So Mother Prabhuji went first to go and see her. Mother Prabhu went to go and see her first. And then they wasn't letting anyone go in. But somehow or another, as you know, I'm the child of Uma Didi, so I snuck in to find her. And so I went in to go and meet with her. And when we were in the car, Prabhuji, Mother Prabhu asked me, what is the duty of a sevak during this time? What is the duty of someone when they're going to serve Shri, when they're going to serve a Vaishnava at this moment in time? And I said, I don't know, Prabhuji. He says, no tears. By you crying, you're taking them away from their goal and their where their mind is. You're taking them away from that. Sorry, I'm very lost for words. You're taking them away from their I want to use the right word. Thoughts. No, it's not thoughts, but they're like deep meditation. You're taking them away from that. You do not want to take them away from that. So your job is to continuously remind them of Sri Guru and Gauranga and Radha Krishna. by either Harikatha or Kirtan. And Mother Prabhu said that this is what I did with all three of the Mahabhagavad Vaishnavas, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev, and Srila Bhakti Vigyan Bharati Goswami Maharaj. He said that was my only job, to just keep them in their full meditation. So I said, no problem. So I went in to see with Uma Didi. She looked at me. She was kind of semi-conscious. So I had the opportunity. I was like, okay, let me do my duty as a daughter of Srimati. So I sang her Gauranga Balita Habe. And when I was singing Gauranga Balita Habe, she could hear what I was. She couldn't move so much, but she could hear. And when I was singing Are Kabe Nitai Chande, she turned her face and smiled and raised her hand like in blessing. And yeah, I continued. This is really funny also, because I always forget the lyrics of Gauranga Balita Habe in the order it comes in without my phone. And this time I did not have my phone. So I was like, okay, if this goes wrong, she's gonna get really angry with me, because she's gonna be like, you've messed up another kirtan. So I was like, okay, I've prepared my whole life for this moment. But this time around, I don't know how it happened, but I remembered every single line of the kirtan. And she was kind of like happy to hear kirtan. She had already had Gurudev's Maha Mantra playing in the background with her ear, but she was happy to hear kirtan. And she was trying to talk to me, but I said no, don't, because her oxygen level was dropping. So then I also left because I didn't want to keep disturbing her. A few moments later, everyone was consoling outside what to do next. So the idea was that they would keep her in for another night and then bring her in back to Gopinath Bhavan the following day. So whilst they were all having that conversation outside in the main court, like front of the hospital, I was like, no, I want to see Uma Didi one more time. I said, I don't know. I had this feeling that I was like, I don't know if I will get to meet her. And if I go back to Faridabad, then I don't want to miss the opportunity to meet her. And I asked the warden, and the warden said, no, you're not allowed to go back in. And I said, what if something happens to her? And I don't know why I said that. But I said, what if something happens to her? And she said, no, you're not allowed to go in. Or you have to leave. So I was like, okay, let me just pay my obeisances. You could still see her through the window. So I could still see her. So I paid my obeisances, and as soon as I got up, she went into cardiac arrest. So they were resuscitating her during that moment. And then when I was seeing them do the cardiac arrest, and if anyone's seen anyone go through cardiac arrest, it's a very, they have to hit the body really hard. So I was like, no, there's something wrong. So I ran to Ranga Didi and I said, Ranga Didi, please come, because there's something wrong. At that point, they knew that they could not do no more. So they decided that very evening to bring her back to Gopinath Bhavan. So that evening, maybe it got to about 8, 9. I'm not sure what about timing, so apologies. I've not got the times right, but they came. We brought her back to Gopinath Bhavan, where there was a wonderful devotees doing kirtan outside waiting for her. And I think Charachandra Didi explained that she went to go and see Thakurji, and then she went into her room. Now, I don't know how, I don't know why, but Uma Didi chose to keep me beside her during her last moments. And so we all decided that she had this oxygen mask. She absolutely hated it. It was like, if anyone's taken an oxygen mask, and this was a really intense one, it gushes a lot of oxygen into your body because of her heart rate. They needed something to keep her pumping. So it's very cold, and also because her kidneys were failing, she wasn't allowed to drink water on top of that. So her throat was drying and so many problems. So she said, I don't want to, I don't want to. Eventually we got rid of that one. And then we had the tube going through, like, if you remember when Shila Gurudev also had, he had a tube kind of going through his nose. It was like that. So that was constantly pumping and oxygen. And then we all decided, there was about 4 or 5 of us. Then Ranga Didi and Brinda Didi, etc., decided on a rota. Mother Prabhu suggested that best to have a rota so that we can arrange, so that everyone can have rest also. Ranga Didi can also have rest, etc. So Brinda Didi was on the shift before us. And when we came back, so this must have been about 10, 11 o'clock at night, and our shift started at 1 o'clock. So when me and Vipin came into the room, Uma Didi was very restless. She didn't want the oxygen because it was hurting her, and she was going through a lot of pain. And when you see someone go through that much pain, your only prayer is, oh Gurudev, take her. It's not fair. It's not fair to make her suffer. Take her. Whether I want to keep her or not, she's in so much pain. She wouldn't sleep. All she wanted was water. She kept saying to me, Prabhu, I don't want this anymore. I don't want. But because we were on a service or seva, we had to keep our oxygen levels to a right number. Otherwise it would completely, and Ranga Didi was resting at this time. So we would take the tube off, take it off. This is, I just want to kind of make, this is how strong she was. She was completely weak, but when it came to taking that thing off, she had so much strength. She pushed my hand out of the way. She was like, no, you listen to me. I'm your mother, not the other way around. And I was like, no, Mother Didi, firstly, she doesn't like taking advice from me anyway. She hates it. So, and it's always been that relationship. But she was like, no. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to do 2 more minutes. Because we had to keep telling her 2 more minutes, and then we will take it out so she can breathe and have water. And she said, you keep saying 2 minutes. It's been so long. So she knew what was happening. So it's kind of like a weird one, because her body was if you looked at her, she was saying one thing, and then what was coming out of her mind, and also her hand was so strong, she was pushing my hand back. And for considering someone that is in that position, her hand was very, very strong, enabled. So then me and Vipin decided that we will remove with the advice of the 24-hour nurse that was with us, that we would remove the oxygen for a little bit so that she could rest. But she wouldn't sleep that night. She wouldn't sleep at all. She kept calling out for Ranga Didi, or she would keep going, this is hurting me, this pain is hurting me. So I would give a massage on her leg, or she'd be like, I don't want this. Literally every 2-3 minutes. And we were on the shift from 1 p.m. to around 3:30. Originally our shift was 1 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. And then the next group would come in. But she was being very I don't want it. And I said, don't worry, we're here. And then our shift was coming to an end. It's like she was testing us. It's really seriously. So our shift was coming to the end, and she finally fell asleep. And I was like, okay. So the next person that's going to come in is good. Please don't disturb them. We tried to do a handover, but then the next disciples that were coming, or devotees that were coming, they had to be careful of her oxygen levels and how she was being restless and stuff. So she needed someone that she knew very well next to her. So Vipin stayed with them for an extra hour. I woke up for Mangalarti because we had a room opposite. So I was doing Mangalarti. And I was like, okay, at 5 o'clock, I was like, let me go and check up on Uma Didi, see if she's still sleeping or if she's has any problems, because then at least I can cover, because I know what she's like. And she was sleeping. And I was like, oh, okay, she's resting. You know, I was so happy because I was like, she's finally, after like maybe 24 hours, she's actually fallen asleep. So then I was like, okay, I will go and rest also, because we only had like 1 hour of sleep in between all of this. And then at 5:30, no, sorry, 6:30, we get a knock on the door saying, come quickly, from Ranga Didi. And I don't know again why, but as she was taking her last breath, me and Bakula Didi and Ranga Didi were standing next to her. And she left. But the beautiful thing about it is that she left how she came, which was with a massive smile. She caused no problems, no issues for anybody during her last, like, leaving pastimes. She left very, very peacefully. And she didn't cause anyone to feel any, she hated her personal seva. I don't know if anyone knows that. If you tried to do any personal seva for her, she absolutely hated it. She would say, I'm not old, I can do it myself. You do it for Hari Guru, not me. She would hate it. And so all of the sevaks that were there during the last moment, she didn't cause anyone any, she didn't say anything to anyone. And when we got there, it's almost like, it was like almost like a confirmation or some sort. It's like I don't know if you know the smile, but she's got this really cheeky smile that says, I told you. I don't know if you've seen that smile. It's very, very like kind of like a cheeky smile that she knows that she's already told you something that's going to happen, and she's smiling to let you know that I told you that happened. It was that kind of smile. It's that kind of smile that she had. Because of what we had seen the night before, my heart was so overjoyed because she was not in pain anymore. Now, obviously, as time's gone on and it's like 11 p.m. here or something like that, it's getting harder. But I know that Gurudev came for her. I know that Shlabam March came for her. And I know that Trivika March came for her. I think all three of them came. Perhaps even Param Gurudev came. Now, this is a speculation, but I feel like within my heart, that's what happened, because I prayed to all four of them when she was going through this pain, that you take her. And I think there was many, I know that sounds very selfish, but there was many devotees also praying for her to stay. And I said, it's not fair. She's 90, 91, 92, whatever she is, and she doesn't deserve to go like this. She's a Vaishnavi. And if I am really her daughter, then I wouldn't want to cause her any more pain. And she had enough. She was not able to go to like Navadvip anymore. She wasn't able to do prachar. She wasn't able to speak anymore. She was getting so frustrated that it was like, everyone knows that Uma Didi was like a restless person. She would not be able to not speak Harikatha. And now that she was at this point where she was unable to speak Harikatha, I think it was at that time where she was like, just take me. Why? Like last year when she had the stent put in her, or when she had a heart attack, that she said to one sevak, why haven't they taken me? Why haven't they taken me already? But then she said also after that, very soon, that they will take me. I'm theirs. They will take me when they want, not when I want. So she also showed that her strong will and determination, even in her last last couple of days, last couple of years, last couple of moments, how strong-willed she was. And I know that everyone will be hearing from everyone else about the past times of Srimati Uma Didi and the time that's spent, but I'm now pondering on the instruction she's given me and what is it that she's shown me. And I think it's a reflection for everyone to kind of consider that when these Vaishnavas are leaving, that what are they really leaving behind for us? Okay, they have memories, but what do those, Vaishnavas, whenever they do anything, they're doing it with an instruction and with an intention. They don't do anything without something that is related to bhakti in it. So all of these interactions that she's showing, what were they? She showed us etiquette of how to serve Vaishnavas. She showed us how to love and give affection to Vaishnavas and our God brothers and sisters and our family members, not even our God brothers and sisters, everybody. And anyone that came to her, it didn't matter where they were from, who they were. There was no consideration, just like Gurudev. There was no consideration of caste, creed, or anything. And they would come to her and she would give them as much love and affection as anyone else. This was her one of her gifts to us, showing us exactly how to act amongst each other. No enviousness, no criticism, and how to, Gurudev would say, I want you all to work together with love and affection. Well, she was an embodiment of that, because there were Vaishnavas there that haven't been in the Sangha for 20, 25 years. They've been missing and they've appeared to say, to wish Uma Didi a farewell. So that's the bond that she had with many people, that even though many people wouldn't get to speak to her often, she still held something within their heart that would keep that relationship with them alive for an eternity. And even now, that relationship still exists. It's just that we have the opportunity now to learn from what she's given us. Okay, even simple things like her etiquette of eating prasad. And anyone that's also spent time with her, you will see the way she cuts vegetables is very particular. Radha knows. One time she got told off for cutting potatoes in different shapes and sizes. She says, "You don't know. Let me show you." You're very particular. Why? Because Vama Maharaj was particular. Gurudev was particular. Even eating prasad, every time she would sit next to me when I would eat prasad in front of her, she would absolutely hate it. She said, she used to tell me, I have no etiquette in the way I eat my prasad. She said, you should eat prasad like Sita Thakurani. Because I know it's weird, but Sita Thakurani Didi has a particular way of eating prasad also. She said, you're eating like an animal. It's not you eat like an animal. But I said, oh my Didi, your prasad is so good. And she says, what, are you still an animal? I said, no, Didi. She said, okay, learn how to eat prasad. So these little things, even in eating prasad, she was very particular. So it's getting very late here, and I don't want to take any more time from anybody else, and I want to apologize because I know I've taken a lot of time. But I wanted to share with you guys the kind of final moments that we had with Uma Didi. And if I ever get the opportunity again, or when I have time to have some sort of reflection, I will try and share as much as I can. But for now, thank you for giving me the opportunity for sharing with my family, grown up with. Sometimes it's very difficult to express your heart to strangers here, but when you're expressing it within family members, it's always easy. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to glorify Srimati Uma Didi, and yeah. Uh, Srila Bhaktivedanta Bhaman Goswami Maharaj ki jai, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, Srila Gurudev ki jai, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Chirkam Goswami Maharaj ki jai, and most Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj ki jai, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Guru Parampara ki jai, and Koti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Thank you so much for again giving me the opportunity. Dandavat pranams. Thank you. Hari Hari Bol.
Jai, Dandavat pranams, Yashodhara. That was so, so beautiful and touching. And I feel very honored. I think I might speak for others also. I feel very honored to hear from you since you had this close association from the very beginning. She was the one who first introduced you even to Gurudev. And you met her first before you met Gurudev. And so many beautiful things that you mentioned, and you filled us in on what happened at the actual time of her departure. I think it's such a privilege that you had that opportunity to be there right at that time. It's not an ordinary thing to be there at the time. I was in Vrindavan just before Prabhupada left. And then I began to think, oh, I can do much more for Srila Prabhupada. But if I go back to the West and continue doing book distribution. So 1 week before he left, I went back to the West, but it was something that I regretted for my entire life, that I didn't stay that extra week. And there weren't that many who were actually able to be present. And as you said, there were only 3 of you there when he actually left.
Yeah, it's such a interesting and weird situation because like I was just saying to Vipin, anyone could have been. There's so many seniors, and for many years I was like, oh, I've never been able to serve Srimati Uma Didi. I've never personally been able to serve Srimati Uma Didi ever. And once I got married, it was very difficult to kind of be in association with her so often. And I was like, what kind of daughter am I? I don't even get to serve her. And I don't know, this feeling had always been there with me. And then she called me. So I don't know. It's not, it's for my own, actually, to see the pain. It just shows that how important our life is, how important every moment in bhakti is, because that pain is going to be even worse for someone like me who is not a devotee at all. So she gave many teachings with even her departure. This is the caliber of Vaishnavi she is, that she, even during the time she's leaving, she's giving so many instructions. And also, I just wanted to mention before I leave that her departure was 6:27 a.m., which was the same nakshatra, the constellation of stars of Srimati Radharani. Anuradha. Which is the Radha Nakshatra, which is the opposite of Krishna's. So you can see that in itself shows the where she's most likely to be going.
Wow.
So that's the auspiciousness.
Wow.
And also she left on Valentine's Day, which is very convenient.
She left what?
She left.
On Valentine's Day.
Yeah, she left. She was like, oh, she even gave us instruction about Valentine's Day. She was like, oh, don't worry about spending Valentine's Day with your partner. You're spending it with Radha and Krishna. That's, hey, she could have chose, but there you go. Okay, I think I will take rest.
Okay.
Maybe we've got program tomorrow.
Thank you so much. And Yashodhara, you said you have more to share if we have another forum. I'm thinking to do this again tomorrow, and possibly we can do it earlier in the day so that it's not so late for you, but we will be in touch with you anyway.
Okay.
Okay.
My pleasure.
Sorry,
Thank you
Didi.
so much.
Jagatam Didi, can I just say to Yashadari Didi that just my heartfelt condolences to everybody out there in Vrindavan. Please pass on my heartfelt condolences. I know that you're all grieving, you know, and yeah, I just wanted to say that before you take rest because.
Oh, thank you so much. Actually, if anyone gets the opportunity and has Ranga Devi's number, maybe she spent so much. She's such an amazing, amazing sevak. I mean, I could speak on a whole subject about how much seva she's done. That if you can show her some love and affection, I don't want that she feels alone, because she shouldn't feel ever alone. She's done so much seva. So if you can show her some love and affection, that would be wonderful as well. Thank you. Haribo, don't know what to pronounce.
Thank you, my dear Yashodhari. Please take some rest. So Labanga Lata, we would like to ask you to speak now. Please.
Oh, what can I say? I just wanted to say heartfelt condolences to everybody. I was last night, I got a message that she wasn't so well, and that she was in critical condition. And I had a feeling that she was going to leave, and just as I was lying down to take rest, I just felt completely blissful. I was just thinking of Gurudev and I was thinking of her, and I just felt completely blissful, completely peaceful. And then as soon as I woke up this morning, I found out that she had left. And what can I say? She, when I first went to Keshavji Gaudiya Mat, like she was just this little old woman wandering around in whites, and I didn't really know who she was. And I remember Vishaka Didi saying to me, she's not an ordinary person, so that kind of gave me a little bit of like just a heads up, like don't treat her just like some ordinary little woman, and then it just became clear, the more I watched her, and I didn't have that much close association with her, but I think because over so many years, like going to Parikram, and then in the end, after, like, I can't remember when she came to the West, but when she started coming to the West and preaching, then that relationship built a little bit more, when you hear her Harikatha. I mean, when I first went on Parikram, she was so humble, and she was very strong. Like Yashodhari said, she was so strong. And we would be in this massive hall, all together, just lying on the ground on sleeping mats. Nobody had a room, and she was there. And I don't know if Chara's still with us, but I remember one of my first parikrams. I remember Chara Didi giving her like massaging her legs a little bit, because obviously parikram's pretty intense, so she was massaging her legs, I remember that. And she was just sleeping a few like roll up beds away, so that was very intimate. And she would tell us Harikatha. Whenever I saw her, she would either give me prasadam or tell Harikatha, or ask if I was okay. She gave so much love to everybody. And especially when I remember her coming to London, and I didn't have so much association with her. I couldn't get over to the temple so much, but I knew that I heard about how she was in the kitchen, like training everybody up how to cook the most amazing prasad. And that was like a big selling point, if you like. It was like, come and see Uma Didi, because she's gonna cook amazing prasad, and in Wales also, I had a bit of time with her in Wales. My heart goes out to the devotees there. They Malini and Madam Mohan Prabhu hosted her every year in Wales, and she would just be like pottering around the kitchen. Like, she had so much focus when she was cooking, and I was always amazed, like these massive vats of oil that she would be frying things in, and I was like, and she would barely reach above the pan, but she was just so expert at doing everything. She'd be like doing 2 or 3 things at once, and telling other people what to do. And I was just like, I can't go in the kitchen. I don't know what I'm doing. I did have one time when she let me she was preparing some kind of courgette fritters, and I had to grate the courgette and then like squeeze all the water out of it. And then I transferred it into another bowl because I thought, oh, we'll use this bowl for something else. And she chastised me. She thought I hadn't squeezed it out. She chastised me. But the thing I remember about her, like Yeshidari said, she told it how it was, and but she was so loving that it was like Gurudev would just. Sorry, I went. Can you still hear me now?
Yeah, you're on now.
Gurudev could give me a look, you know, which would churn my heart, and it was like a big operation on my heart, but there was always a massive injection of love at the same time. You know, he would perform a heart operation and show me, oh yeah, you're being envious, or you're this, or you're that, you know. And that was you know, I could feel that was a tremendous privilege to be operated on like that by Gurudev. And Uma Didi could do the same thing, you know. There was so much love in it. You know, I'm not somebody, like, I've always struggled to follow, and I'm not, you know, I'm such a newbie, like, really. And so I think a lot of Vaishnavas, they wouldn't give me operate on my heart in such a beautiful way. She gave a massive injection of love at the same time, so it never hurt, never ever hurt to be chastised by her, to be honest with you. And what else do I remember? I remember in Wales, you know, she would just come down in the morning, she'd just pick up the songbook, and she would give a whole class just on one song, and go and weave in so much Tattva Siddhant and so many pastimes. And the wonderful thing about Uma was that she told the pastimes almost exactly the same way that Gurudev told them. It was so, when I was sitting listening to her, she either was telling the pastimes exactly like Gurudev told them, or she was talking about Gurudev and saying, oh, Gurudev would say this, Gurudev said that, you know. And I think, you know, that gave a lot of shelter and a lot of feeling of safety, particularly after Gurudev left. You know, it's kind of like, okay, there's loads of different Vaishnavas, and who do we take shelter of? And it just felt safe. It felt safe with her to just sit at her feet, and she would talk about Gurudev, and there was that connection there. So she had such a strong connection with Srila Gurudev, and I felt that this morning, actually. And just even now, when Yashadari said that when she first met Uma Didi, then she burst into tears. And I was thinking back to when I first met Srila Gurudev, I spontaneously burst into tears. You know, I went in there kind of like wanting to ask a question, and all kind of, you know, I want to find out about how to be a devotee. I couldn't even get halfway through my question. He looked at me, and I just, you know, completely burst into tears, couldn't control it. And when Yashadari said that about her meeting with Uma Didi, that just reminded me of that. And I know she had, you know, her connection with Gurudev is eternal and just beautiful. And I was thinking that this morning when I heard that she'd left. You know, I mean, this could be just my speculation, but I'm beginning to trust my own heartfelt feelings a little bit more. And when I was chanting this morning, I really genuinely just felt like Gurudev and Uma Didi were there in the room, that there's an eternal connection there. And I just started crying, because it really did feel like, you know, like one more person who knew Gurudev so well, now they've left. And that's like, yeah, it felt a little bit like, oh no, you know, like we're left behind. Does that make sense? She was somebody that connected me back with Gurudev. So yeah, I you know, when other people have left, like, I guess, you know, it depends on your connection with them, but I don't think I had any special connection with her, but there must have been something there, because I found myself crying quite a lot today, and just feeling quite sad that that person who connected me with Gurudev and made me feel so safe like that, that she's left, and that she won't be coming back to Wales, which is where I would have seen her. The last time I saw her was in Wales, and and the last time, it was the last time I spoke to her actually, and I went in to say goodbye to her. She was just about to leave and to offer my Dandavat pranams, and we were talking, and I can't remember the whole conversation, but I do remember saying to her, I'm nowhere, I'm nowhere with this bhakti thing, and she just smiled, and she said something like, now you're getting somewhere, now you've realized that you're nowhere, then that's a start, So but she was always very encouraging, beautiful, funny, like people have said, always gave me prasadam. I know other devotees can say about how they got looked after. Ramananda Prabhu posted something on Facebook about that today. And she wasn't an ordinary, she's not an ordinary personality at all. And I'll miss her. And but my heartfelt condolences to everybody that was so close to her. And yeah, I'll definitely contact Uma Didi as well. That's all I can say, really. Dandavat pranams to everybody.
Dandavat pranams, Lavangalate. Thank you so much. You showed a many-faceted view of Uma, her eagerness and love in cooking and doing everything really in a very Pukka way, and training others to do that. I really picture that. I really see her lift her short little stature, lifting up and trying to reach the pots and everything, and trying to train the devotees. And also on the other hand, as soon as a festival is there, she picks up the songbook and gives Hari Katha, and it's so beautiful. Thank you so much for your remembrances. Yeah.
There was one more thing I was going to share, that she didn't, she was fearless, I even heard her chastise other people, devotees, in the sense that she would just say, they don't tell it like Gurudev said. And she did. Every pastime, she would tell it exactly like I was on Parikram with Gurudev. And she even said, you have to tell it like Gurudev said. I was going to share that. That's the last thing.
Thank you. That's a beautiful point that I always noticed myself whenever I heard her Hari Katha. It would always be word for word what Gurudev was saying. Thank you so much. Jai, we have so many beautiful devotees to share tonight. Hari Bol Budara Prabhu, nice to see you. Hari Bol.
Hari Bol, everybody.
So now we're going to ask Chandrika to speak something. Chandrika, who's in Wales. And yeah, so please say something, Chandrika.
Thank you so much. Thank you for asking me. My video keeps going funny since the new latest Zoom update. Apparently it's happening everywhere. So if I go a bit funny, I'll just take it off and take it back on again. So sorry about that. Okay. Thank you so much for asking me to just say a few words on this beautiful, auspicious and sad day. Om Gyana Timrandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshura Manitang Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Kripeka Vita Yamaryada Rakshiti Vaishnavanam Kripa Valamata Pistakami Shri Bhaktidam Bharatim Ashraya Maha Namo Vishnupadaya Gaura Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Bhanati Namine Vandeham Bhakti Chakora Gauranga Nija Prashtitam Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Vanam Namastavayam Shri Radharika Nishtitam Nasena Katamitam Sankirtanam Namadam Goswaminam Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Shri Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I just begin by offering my unlimited Dandavat pranams to lotus feet of my spiritual masters. I'm literally Vishnu and Vishnu Pada's daughter Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Bharati Goswami Maharaj, and to Vishnu Pada's daughter Shata Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Goswami Maharaj. and Tom Nichili Vishnu Vishnu Palace Daughter Shata Shishma Bhakti Vedanta Naranga Swami Maharaj, and Tom Nichili Vishnu Vishnu Palace Daughter Shata Shishmad Bhakti Vedanta Swami Maharaj, and all of Guru Varga, and especially on this day to heartfelt Dandavana pranams, the lotus feet of Srimati Uma Didi. So Jagatamji just kindly invited me to say a few words because I was very fortunate to have her association in 2019 in Wales, and we just moved to Wales, and she basically came like the week after to stay, and it was amazing, the most amazing week. I hadn't had much of association beforehand, and even now, like, I'm just going to keep the video off because it's just going to go mad. That's okay. So yeah, so she was to be in her presence was amazing. We would go for like morning walk every morning along the beach, and I think it was sort of, I think all the time in Wales they would go to the same place because it's a nice like walkway, and so I would just like walk next to her, and it just felt like to be in her presence was so amazing, and I just wanted to just like be close to her as much as I could, and so I just walked with her when she was walking up and down chanting. And then there was one day that I couldn't actually go because there was there was enough room in the cars, so I think I was in the car, and then I saw one devotee, she wanted to get in, and she was more senior than me, so I said, well, you get in the car then because you're more senior than me, and she said, no, you go. And I said, no, you go, So I got out the car, and I know my heart was just like so sad that it hadn't gone. And then, and I just waiting for them to come back. So, and then I went up the steps to greet them, and they went to greet her when they came back. And then she got out the car, and she just looked straight at me, and she said, "You missed the sea." And I just said, "No, I missed being with you, chanting japa." And I know that the very senior Vaishnavas, and I pondered it for a long time why she would say that, because I didn't know whether I'd done the right thing or not by giving up my chance to go and be with her or not. So I still ponder that now. I still don't know if I did the right thing. If it's like because like Srila Bhakti Swami Maharaj says, what everybody else is doing, you have to carry on. You march on, and you march on whatever is happening. If some people fall behind or whatever. So I always like wonder, what like Yashoda Didi was saying, they don't. Their words are so potent, and their instructions are so potent. They will not sort of say anything that's offhand or that's not important. So I still don't know what she meant by that, because it's a teaching, like Yashoda was saying, it's a teaching. And in that week, as Labanga Lata Didi was saying, every day she would open the songbook and she would speak beautiful Harikatha about the bhajans, and every day, this is my memory, she would stress so much the importance of prayer. She would say how important prayer is for our bhajan. It's one of the most important things, and she stressed very strongly. She said, "Be in prayer all the time." Be in prayer all the time, and that made a seriously deep impression on my heart, and I've never forgotten that. And obviously, like today, it's even more pertinent and prominent today, because on these days, as as my Guru Maharaj says, Bhagyan Goswami Maharaj says, we to on their disappearance and appearance days, to remember them and pray to them, because it's the most important day. And obviously today is that day that to remember her instruction and to pray for her mercy. So that was another that was one of my most memorable memories of being with her. And the same as well, I haven't got very good samskars with cooking, so I feel the same when I saw her in the kitchen. I was the same as Labanga Lata did, is that I'll just stay over here and I'll make garlands then. Because you could just, you just like the power of just her being in the kitchen was powerful. I don't know if I did maybe chop some. I think I might have. I think I was able to might have maybe chop some cauliflower or something like that. Maybe I think I was allowed to sort of do something like that. Maybe something sort of, I've got sort of some vague memory. And talking of the garlands as well, I felt so happy that I was given the saver to make the garlands. And so one thing to sort of like to show how Uma Didi is absolute like beyond 100% Guru Nishta. She was so strong in her Guru Nishta, and she'd always, every time she was speaking, it was always Gurudev says this, Gurudev says, Gurudev says. It was never her own words, and it was so beautiful to have that impression in our hearts, to know that we are, you know, when we're sort of like speaking, you know, it's not coming from us, it's coming from Gurudev always. And so with the garlands, we had like a sort of the first day I think I'd made garlands for Param Gurudev Srinivanga Swami Maharaj and Srila Bhakti Bhamra Goswami Maharaj, and then we'd made one for her as well, and she wouldn't accept it because it hadn't been offered to, you know, Param Gurudev and Srila Bhakti Bhamra Goswami Maharaj. So then the next day, we offered her one that had been offered to Param Gurudev. The next day, she'd asked like for a couple of days, have they been offered? Have they been offered to my Gurudev? And yes. And then like towards the end of the week, she stopped asking because she knew that we'd make sure when we were making the garlands that we had this, you know, that we understood that, you know, her instruction that we must always offer all the garlands to you know, to Guru, to Sri Guru first before she would accept them, and that was very sweet. Another very sort of sweet teaching, and yeah, her Hari Katha was so sweet. How she would always look up, how she always looks up when she's speaking Hari Katha, you know. So she's, you know, it's almost like she's, you know, who is she listening, or is she seeing, or, you know, who's, you know, oh, that always, like, I always thought that was very sweet, how she would always be looking up when she was speaking Hari Katha. And yeah, we'll certainly miss her, and was, you know, it was my great fortune to be there. It was all our great fortune to be there in 2019, and my great misfortune that I have not been, you know, spend more time with her. And yeah, the same, my heart goes out to Rangadevi and to Hishodari and to Manjalali Didi in the temple in Gopinath Bhavan, and to Malini, her family, and Lily Kishori, because they were very, very close to her, and everybody who was really, really close to her. My heart goes out to them because she was so loving. She's such a beautiful, loving, very kind, sweet, loving Vaishnavi mother, and yes, I feel very, very, very fortunate, very, very blessed to have met her in this life for sure. And you know, I know she gave her mercy to me for sure. There's one more little thing I've just remembered. I'd fallen asleep in front. I sat right in front of her, and she was giving Hari Katha, and I must have drifted off. And it was, you know, you know, when you come awake, and you sort of like, you're nervous because if you fall asleep in front of Gurudev or something, you're like, oh no, you know, you just wake up with a start, and you know, you sort of feel all anxious or whatever. But I remember it was definitely sort of something that, you know, something otherly, because as I came round, I slowly opened my eyes with the knowledge that I was being brought out of it. When I opened my eyes, she was looking straight at me as if to sort of say, like, wake up, Jeev Jago. I felt that strongly, wake up, you know, and I felt that was her mercy on me, and that was just something so sweet. And it was just like a mother waking up a child. Come on, wake up. It was really beautiful. So yeah, so I'll close there, because obviously you have lots of, you know, amazing Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis to share their offer their Pushpanjali also. So thank you so much, Agatam, for letting me have this opportunity to purify my tongue by speaking about this beautiful Vaishnavi, and all glories to her wonderful service all through this life. And I pray that to have one drop of a Guru Nishta in this life or in any life would be, you know, a great fortune. Thank you so much. And please forgive me because I need to leave. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Chandrika. Just one question. You said at the beginning that she said to you, why did you miss something? What was that?
She said to me, "You missed the sea."
The sea.
Because we go to the sea every morning so I'd walk with, we go to the sea every morning to do for a japa walk.
Yeah.
And that's the first, that's the first thing. She didn't say anything. She just got out of the car and she just came to me. She says, you missed the sea," and it was almost like it was like she was upset with me.
Yeah.
It was like it's like a slight chastisement, and I still don't quite. Oh God, this thing is so crazy. I still don't quite know what the teaching is there, because I know that she would not. It's not a light thing. I know they don't. They don't. Pure devotees, they don't have this light thing that they would say. So I don't know.
I understand that love of Vaishnava and the motherly love also, when you're experiencing something beautiful, like Krishna says, of bodies of water, I am the ocean, that you like to share it with your loved ones. So if a loved one isn't there to share it, then you feel a little bit hurt about that,
Oh,
yeah.
That's really sweet. Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you very much for coming on and joining us, Chandika. I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you so much for asking, and I hope the rest of the glorification goes really, really sweetly.
Nikunj is going to share, but we're going to ask Budara first if he would like to share. Prabhu, would you like to share something tonight?
Well, for my own purification, just a few words maybe.
Okay.
To glorify Uma Didi. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuram Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gaudavani Pachadine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Paskatade Satarine Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhika Priyatmane Shishima Bhakti Vedanta Narayaniti Namine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gauda Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So just a few words. I somehow stumbled onto this little meeting of glorification of Uma Didi by chance. I looked at my WhatsApp and I saw it was happening, so I just clicked on it and here I am. So excuse me for crashing the party.
You're always welcome, Prabhu. This is quite spontaneous for us also.
Yeah. Well, like I said, I only have a few minutes because I have to help Lalita with something, but I think everybody, I don't think there's anything that you can say that people already don't know about, the devotees don't already know. It's roughly the equivalent of being in a room with a bunch of brothers and sisters and talking about your mother. You need no introduction to your mother. Everybody knows who she is and everybody knows how beautiful she is and what she does for everyone. And so I think that it's a great loss for us to, have Uma Didi depart today. It was actually a very auspicious departure, an auspicious time. And, in Radharani's Nakshatra, Anuradha. I mean, what can I say? She was the personification for me of love and service. If you wanted to see someone who practiced her bhakti, her preached, how do you say, she preached through her practice by her example. Of course, she was also expert in speaking the philosophy. And that, as Chandrika pointed out, was because she had listened very carefully to her Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhaktivedanta Vamana Goswami Maharaj, and Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, both of whom were her great shelter. And whenever she spoke, there was nothing, I've never found anything striving or artificial in what she said. It wasn't that she was reaching for something she didn't have within herself. It wasn't contrived. It was a genuine expression of what she was experiencing. And as a result, it couldn't help but touch everybody's heart. Aside from that, at such an advanced age, traveling around the world so many times, going from place to place, I have a nervous breakdown when I have to go for a short flight to Europe. How she did it, I have no idea. Clearly, transcendental Shakti, the power of her devotion was what helped her do it. Just a mother to us all, really. And so I kind of feel like in some ways, you know, we've all been orphaned today. So it's a very emotional day for everybody, myself included. The only thing I'll add to this is I just loved what Chandrika said about what Uma Didi said, be always in prayer. It's a very beautiful aphorism I'm going to take with me. So thank you for passing that on. Do you have anything to say? No, okay. That's it for me. I think it's inadequate. You can't describe such a person. The countenance of her face on leaving this world, I think, is testament to who she really is. If you have any sensitivity to these things, you can see that it was really a transcendental departure. So, you know, Srimati Uma Didi ki jai.
Jai, thank you so much, Budar Prabhu. That was just so in tune with the devotees and Uma Didi herself, and how you were marveling at she's traveling at such an advanced age, and how it could only be to traveling on spiritual energy. And I'm glad that you reminded me of be always in prayer, because that also is a really important thing for me to remember. So thank you very much for your offering. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
So Nikunja Vilasini is going to speak, and I see that Shyam Prabhu is with us. Shyam, did you want to speak this evening?
I can just speak for 2 minutes. Just a couple of words.
Okay.
You can go first if you want. I've got a cramp.
Oh. Okay then. And I don't know, Radha, did you want to speak?
I can right at the end. Is it me that you're asking, Jagatandari?
Yes.
Yeah, I can right at the end, but I'm really happy to hear everyone else's glorifications.
Okay, because I think we're going to do this again tomorrow as well.
Okay. Yeah, no problem.
So, Shyam Prabhu, Nikunja's giving you permission to go first. So, can we have your darshan if possible?
I don't know if I'm doing you any favors there, but yeah, I'm not gonna. Oh, okay, I've got a background now. I was going to say I'm not going to turn the lights up because well, I don't need to inflict that on you. Agyana timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militangena Tasmai Shri Guru Namaha Mukhang Karoti Vachalang Pangung Langhayate Giring Yat Kripatamahang Vande Shri Gurung Dinatarine Paramananda Madhavam Guruve Gaura Chandraya Radhikaye Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namaha. So this is a bittersweet occasion. It's a mixture of sadness and joy for me. The way I see it is it's our loss, but Uma Didi's gain. She has gone back to Godhead without any doubt to be with her Gurujan, Srila Gurudev, Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj, and her Guru Maharaj, Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, in Swarup form. The nature of her passing indicates this very clearly. Passing away in an auspicious time on the bank of the Yamuna in Gopinath Bhavan, just next door to Imli Tala, where Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would sit and chant in the mood of Srimati Radhika, where Srimati Radhika would sit and cry for Krishna, surrounded by Vaishnavas, doing kirtan, taking her on tour of the Goswami temples of all the main places in Vrindavan, and the cremation of her body, that actually did make me cry, seeing that. I mean, I cried a little bit when I heard, but I was also happy for her, because how wonderful, you know. But it's sad for us because now we don't get to meet her again in this lifetime. And I'm sure we can all remember when, I don't know, is everyone here from England or from Britain? But anyhow, I'm sure we all remember when she came to London and Wales and, you know, gave her loving association. When I first went to Sri Keshavji Gaudiya Math in 1996, she was there. She's been, you know, it's getting on for 30 years. And she was there long before that as well, living with her Guru Maharaj in Navadvip. She was a sannyasini in every respect, Goswamini. She always wore white cloth and shaved her head. It's the sign of renunciation of a widow or a sannyasi in the ladies. She was, you know, like they have the issue of Vaishnavi Diksha Gurus now. Well, she was a Vaishnavi like Janava Thakurani. She was a Vaishnavi leader, and she was the guru of us all. And it's nice that the ladies can have more intimate association with someone of that caliber. They can't get so close to the sannyasis, but to have someone like Srimati Uma Didi or Srimati Shamarani Didi, and there are many other examples in our Sangha and in other Sanghas of great Vaishnavis. She was a great inspiration to us all. Everybody remembers how she would cook, lovingly cook for the deities and the devotees, and also how she would teach. The kitchen is not really my department. My idea of the kitchen is I should be in and out of there as quickly as possible. So I didn't cook with her, but this is a legendary pastime of hers. Her mother, Uma, means the universal mother, and she was the mother of us all. If Premananda Prabhu was the mother of the Mat in Mathura, then she was the grandmother of the Mat. And we all felt like we had a loving grandmother. Trying to remember my interaction. Oh, I was going to say the one song, Vrindavana Vasi Jota Vaishnavera Gan, Vandana Sabara Charana Vando.
Prathame Vandana Kori Sabara Charana.
Thank you. I don't have the book to hand, it's in the other room. Kincha Maharaj tells me off. If he sings a song and he wants me to join in and I don't have the book, he says the book should be next to you. Not, you know, I say, oh, it's in the other room. He tells me off for that. So Vandana Korite Mui Koto Shakti Dhori. Who was that, Nalini? Whoever it was, please help me out again. Vandana Korite Mui Koto Shakti Dhori, something. Damba Matra Kori. So means, what power do I have to glorify them? Only out of pride I do so, only out of arrogance. Damba Matra Kori. So what power do I have to glorify such an exalted soul? We're not made of the same stuff. We're not the same species, really. But I just remember, I remember her saying, one time I said to her, I think this was at the Gangamatas in Walthamstow, I said to her, you're like Amaji, you know, like Mother Guru. And she looked at me a little bit quizzically and she said, the hugging guru? I don't know if she approved or not, but I think she took it in the spirit that it was meant, you know, it was meant as a loving compliment. And another time she said to us that, and I think she said this a few times, she said, when I'm here, you all come, you all chant, you all practice and follow, but when I leave, then you go back to how you were. So I'm not happy for this. So we should try and practice and follow, not just when the Vaishnava is in front of our eyes, but also when they're not manifest. Just like Gurudev said, I'm closer to you than the air that you breathe. So these great Vaishnavas are more than competent to enter our heart and to keep an eye on us and to inspire us from within and without. So it's very auspicious that we should be remembering her in each other's association today. It is a sad occasion when there's no greater sorrow than when a Vaishnav leaves, but it's also an occasion of joy. For me, I'm thinking how glorious her leaving, how wonderful, no more to suffer in the material world. I guess Vaishnavas don't suffer, they're transcendental, but still this world is a place of suffering. And I have no doubt, given time, place and circumstances of her departure, that she's achieved the highest destination. So thank you all very much. My Dandavat Pranams to Srimati Uma Didi and to all the Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripasindhubhyo vacha patitnam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Dandavat.
Thank you so much, Shyam Prabhu. That was very nice. It just reminded me, because you had tears coming to your eyes when you first heard about her leaving, and then when you saw the procession when they were taking her body over to, you know, through all of Vrindavan and to all the different temples. It reminded me of when I was sitting with Premananda Prabhu one day in his mat, and he had just gotten word that Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati's last disciple had just left his body. I think it was Shanta Maharaj. And immediately tears were coming from his eyes. And he was saying, when he said, it is a frightful situation when great personalities leave this world. Where does that leave us? So it is very profound, actually, and poignant.
Yeah, it's true. If we look at history, when great Vaishnavas leave, 1914, 1936, Gokshudas Babaji Maharaj and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, there's usually some great upheaval in the world. I guess the late 70s were also a time of strikes and upheaval and difficulty after Srila Prabhupada left. And their mercy is what's keeping the world going. I've realized this before. If it weren't for Srila Prabhupada, this world would have blown itself to pieces long ago. And it was prophesied that something like that would happen. But the fact that, you know, Vaishnavas like Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada and their followers are still practicing Hari Kirtan is what keeps postponing, delaying this. So that's a very auspicious thing.
Yeah.
So yes, it's inauspicious for the world when Vaishnav leaves.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radhe. Hare Bol.
Also, Nalini, did you want to share something?
I can do. Does Nikunja, did you want to speak first?
I think we'll ask Nikunja to speak. And also, can I ask anyone else if they were hoping to speak tonight? Is there anyone else? Radha said maybe she'll speak something small. I also have something small to say. Okay, then Nikunja, please take us.
ज्ञानतिमिरन्दस्य ज्ञानञ्जना शलाकया चक्षुषोन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः Namo Vishnu Vidaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Namine Shri Guru Parampara Ki Jai. Oh, glories to Gurudev, by whose mercy, actually, we got the association of the likes of Srimati Uma Didi. He sent her to us to help us. So what great fortune. I don't know how to glorify the Vaishnavas, but for my purification, I'll just try and say a few words. There are many others who've had much more association, much more intimately, and they could surely speak, much more deeply. Charu Didi and some of the others, Labanga and others have spoken so nicely. I don't know if I can match that, but anyway. I'll just start with a little bit of history. I first met Uma Didi in 1997 in Keshwaji Gaudiya Math. I was with Nandini Didi and we went into her room with the intention of giving her Reiki healing because her joints were hurting her. She was in pain. And that was the first time I met her. And she was so kind. She allowed us in and she graciously allowed us to give her Reiki. And then she said, "Oh, my pain has gone." And then she said, she was so grateful, and she said, "Oh, what is your name?" I said, Nikunja Vilasini Dasi. She said, "Oh, Srimati Radhika's servant has come to help me. This is her mercy." She was so happy in those thoughts, seeing everything as Radharani's mercy like that. It was really sweet. I felt her body, was so clear and there was no blocks or anything. It was just like she was so transparent and clear. And I've never done Reiki on anyone like that before, She was very sweet, humble, soft. I felt like there was no pride. She was just so vulnerable and it was so endearing. It made an impression on me. I felt honored to be in her presence and she was so unassuming. And that was so rare to see that and experience that. One thing I just want to say that I had some negative association for a while that caused me to doubt her actually. And I kept away. But by some good fortune, the negative association went. And then I heard she was coming to England. So I thought, I invited her to the Gandharvika Giridhari's residence where I was living. And, she came and gave a katha and kirtan. Many people, many devotees came. And then when she finished, I just fell at her feet and I just grabbed them and hugged them. And they were so soft, and I said, "I'm so sorry, I've made an offense to you." And I explained to her, what was going on. And she said, "Why? Why?" No. She said, "Nothing, it's nothing, nothing. No. And she just immediately forgave me. And immediately she showed me how loving and forgiving Vaishnavas are actually. She was so soft and loving. And I got a chance to clear my heart and it was just so beautiful. I just made some notes in case I leave anything out. Oh yeah, she said, "Oh, why? What happened? What happened?" And then she said, No, it's nothing. No offense, no offense. She was very, very affectionate. I remember when I would make the effort to go hear Hari Katha from her and she would see me and she would just make a really big deal about giving so much attention and affection. And she would say like this, "Come here, make me sit next to her." And she just like, she's just so loving, And she kept looking at me and made me feel loved. And in doing so, I felt lifted. She lifted my spirit and my heart and gave me hope. hope in love, you know. So that was just an amazing experience. Yeah, she always spoke her truth. I remember one time on Facebook, she saw my photo and I had just cut my hair really short. And she sent me a message back. What have you done to your hair? I don't like this. What have you done? You know, she just always used to say what was on her mind. And that was really endearing. She made it clear she didn't like it, you know. Anyway, I got the message at about 1 a.m. from Vrindavan Vilasini Didi about Uma Didi's departure. It hadn't really quite hit me until I saw the live Facebook video feed. And then in seeing that, wow, it was evident who she was, because her departure was so ecstatic and it was a festival. And so many Vaishnavas chanting Harinam, such beautiful kirtan, such sweet melodies. So it was like a festival, because it was a joyful time, because we know that she has gone to the lotus feet of her Gurudev, you know. And like so many were describing, her face was so peaceful and serene and beautiful, and she was just covered in flowers. And you know, they took her body around the parikrama of Thakurji, and you know, it just was such a mixture of emotions for me. And then it hit me who she is, to some degree, that only an exalted Vaishnava can have such a departure. It's not possible otherwise. I remember in her classes, she used to say things like, she always had so much faith in Harinam, always chanting, always chanting. And she would say, why are you not chanting? No time to chant? You know, why not? Why not? Why not making time to chant? And like this used to really inspire me, you know, because a sign of a Vaishnava is they make other people chant the holy name, as in her departure, so much kirtan going on. I think that's more or less, I've covered everything. I cannot glorify her, but just the few moments of association I had with her, and how she moved my heart and inspired me and was so loving, as others were saying, like a mother, that, you know, she will be truly missed. She'll be truly missed. But I'm so glad she's free from that suffering condition, and she's in a happy place now. Srimati Uma Didi ki jai.
Jai. Thank you so much, Nikunja. That was so beautiful. That what were you saying? Oh, you had the opportunity to serve her by doing Reiki. That was your first meeting with her. You're very fortunate, you know, because often, you know, the men would get to massage Gurudev, and the women didn't get so much opportunity, but you have that opportunity to serve her. And that was really a great blessing. And you told the story of how, you know, you felt you had committed an offense, but she took no offense whatsoever. That's also another quality of Vaishnava. And the last point that you made about how she was always making sure that people were chanting. And of course, we also understand from scripture that anyone in whose company one becomes inspired to chant, that is a sign of Uttamadhikari, actually, a great Vaishnava. So, and also her looking at you and how that had that nice effect. So that was such a nice glorification. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Didi.
I think Madhavraj just come in. Haribo, Madhavraj, we've been sharing since about 4:45. We would like to hear your Pushpanjali. If you wanted to give it, we were going to ask Nalini to speak now, if that's okay.
Hare Krishna, my Dandavat pranams to all Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. I suffer from sleeping disease, So it's called narcolepsy, like Kumbhakana. So right now I'm not feeling well.
Oh,
So
a
I
different number.
just wanted to hear the Pushpanjali is also considered seva. Thank you very much.
Well, please let me know your maybe WhatsApp number so that I can send you the recording.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so Nalini Didi, please.
Haribol Dhanavad to everyone. I hope everyone's okay, and just processing the departure of a Vaishnav. Om Gyana Timirandhasya Ginangina Shalakaya Chakshuruminitam Minatasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Namayam Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shishimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayani Tinamine Namayam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Tinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sanyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Grahar Shivasri Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Srimati Uma Didi, such a character. Like at that age, with that stamina, traveling around the world, you know, China, UK, America, and this is the life of a Vaishnav. This is their business. This is their life and soul, that they are. They're in the army of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, carrying out the mission and going from one place to another in the space of, 5 minutes, 5 days, 10 days. They're just constantly traveling, inspiring everyone and encouraging everyone in their bhakti and saving the fallen souls. And Srimati Uma Didi is, is such an example of how life should be lived, really, in terms of really performing bhakti. She's such an example. Yeah, I think that the first time I spoke to her was when she was I think in America, and she was doing a Skype call. I'd heard of her, but then one devotee over there said, "Oh, Srimati Uma Didi is here. She's just going to speak to you." And I said, "Okay." And I remember she was always eager to meet new people and always questioning, "Oh, what's your name? What's your name?" And I remember when she came to London, there was quite a few like new people that turned up at the program, and she'd always be, eager to know, "Okay, what's your name?" Or somebody would say Deborah, and she's like, "Deborah," like repeating these kind of Western names, like they're just very, very like obviously non-Indian, and they sound funny. Yeah, apologies if anyone's got the name Deborah. But I mean, yeah, and then she would like think of a spiritual name beginning with that initial. So Deborah would be D, or something similar but spiritual. She would turn it into a spiritual name. She was always giving, and yeah, so I spoke to her on the Skype, and I remember at that time, it sounds a bit weird, but at that time I was very much into like, I was going to university. I was probably wearing like a lot of makeup and, well, like eyeliner and stuff, and then she kind of picked up on that, and then she said, "Oh, you're very beautiful, eh?" Like, and then I kind of got this vibe like, okay, yeah, maybe I'm wearing a bit too much makeup, and she's picking up on it, and that was funny. And then she also one time told this story about when she was a teenager and how she was, how she, you know, like she would really kind of converse with the girls in a girly way, you know, to also kind of, there was that, you know, that kind of female connection, like that we could, like she could relate to us and we could relate to her. And she I remember she spoke about how she would do her hair in braids, like the Bollywood actresses at the time, and because she wanted to copy the hairstyles of some of these Bollywood actresses, and how she was as a teen. And it was just so like sweet and funny to hear these stories, you know, part of growing up and as a girl. And but then she explained that she slowly gave all these things up, and back to the point of how, you know, how a woman should be, and how bhajan should be performed. And she was just a fine example of that. That whatever she went through in her, you know, in her apparent marriage life, and that she, you know, she didn't step back into other material things, let's say. She actually was fully dedicated to this mission of Mahaprabhu, that she just went traveling around the world and preaching and for our benefit, you know, and so pure. And I remember that, yeah, she would come to the UK often, as you all know, Birmingham, London, many places, and everyone would feel so excited that she's coming again. Oh, Uma Didi's coming again. And especially that she's female, we would, you know, especially with the Ganga Matas, for example, we'd be more excited. You know, because her cooking was fantastic as well. She was just a small, cute little thing that would just go in the kitchen, and she was also very funny too, like a good sense of humor, cheeky as well. And it would just make me chuckle sometimes, her facial expressions. And I remember she was also invited to a few ISKCON programs where some of the devotees respected her. I think it was the Punjabi community in Coventry. And then she would ask me to sing Raja Janamana Sukhakari, which was one of the most frequent bhajans I would sing. When Srimati Uma Didi would ask me to sing, she would always get me to sing that. And she'd always direct me on what to sing, and if there were new people, or if there were perhaps even some people that were unfavorable or unfamiliar to the Mangala Charan that we usually sing, then she would advise me to do a shorter one or just keep it simple. So she was always aware of people around, and knowing what type of audience we were preaching to. Like, for example, when we went to Bolton, there's a Bengali community there from the Ramakrishna mission, and I was thinking, I was just thinking that why are we going to this place when they are fully like you know, immersed in the whole Ramakrishna philosophy. So what benefit will they be getting by listening to, like, it's time, you know? Sometimes it is a waste of time to go to places where people are just not gonna understand, or they're gonna cause some sort of offense, you know, and just kind of stick with their own philosophy. And but you know, she was invited there, and we did some bhajans, and people were really appreciative of it. And there were many questions by the Bengali community, and some were quite they were good questions, but also I'd say questions like, for example, talking about karma, like it's not fair on a child if he's got a disability or something, and it's not his fault. These kind of questions where the devotees there were justifying and saying that it's unfair that God has given them this sort of life. And Uma Didi, obviously, like, she gave the perfect answers to these questions, even though there were some very strong characters within that group with these type of questions. And so Didi explained later on that it's not a waste of time, because even sometimes we have to knock on the door to break it down, you know, even if that door is tight, that some of these people will get it, maybe not all, but some of those people will benefit from the kata given, you know, it will give them some extra realization. So then I understood, okay, it's not a waste of time. Yeah, and she also came to my house in Preston as well. We arranged a program with my mom, and my mom loves cooking. And Uma Didi, when she came, like, she just, like, we had prepared these samosas for the evening, but she said, oh, I would like to eat something. Your mom's a good cook, right? And she was like, she saw all the cooking and she went straight for the samosas. And then she sat outside in front of the house. We got her a chair and everything. But she was taking quite a long time, you know. And then the program was supposed to start, but then she came in and she said, oh my God, I ate too many samosas. And it was quite funny the way she said it. She said it in Hindi, like a little bit like mumbling to herself, like, oh my God, how am I going to speak? I ate too many samosas. And your mom is like too good of a cook. And it was just so funny. Yeah, she was saying to Ranga Didi, oh, I ate too many samosas. What do I do now? Like, and then yeah, she came in, and there weren't very many of us there. I think the Ganga Matas were there and some of my family, and she was giving very serious kata that day. You know, about how we should do bhakti, and then she got my brother-in-law to sing some Maha Mantra, and we kept it very, very simple, just mainly Maha Mantra. And yeah, it was just such a nice, sweet program. And yeah, I'm so happy that she came and she met my mom as well. And, you know, so Uma Didi, I got chastised a few times from Uma Didi for various things, and when it was unexpected as well. And you know, these are what Vaishnavas do. They put you in line, you know, and for your purification and for your realization, you have to be put in line. So I'm just so grateful for her, and the fact that, you know, sometimes there isn't this female figure that we can, well, let's say I can talk to, but I'm so happy that there is, you know, that there are female Vaishnavis in our line that we can look up to and we can talk to. So yeah, I'm just going to end there, but I don't know what else to say. That yesterday when I heard this news, I think the last time I spoke to her was in Kartik, just last year. I was trying to talk to her, but she was a little bit disconnected, I think, because there was a lot of people who had come by to see her, and obviously her health. So I just paid my dandavats, and that was it, you know. I always think that she's going to come back to the UK again, but she'll always be there. She'll always be there in spirit, and yeah, that's it. I think sometimes we take Vaishnavas for granted, You know, when they're here, it's very easy to ignore them or just say that we'll take their association later and later and later over any, you know, responsibilities and commitments we have. It ends up being number one, but actually when the time is gone, the Vaishnava is gone, that's when we really start to think about how, you know, how this life is very short, how time is very short, how we should take the opportunity when these Vaishnavas are there, we should take that opportunity, because that same opportunity may never come again. So I think that's what I realize, you know. But yes, the Vaishnavas, they come, they give what they can, what they're meant to, and the rest is up to us to remain strong in our bhajan, like Gurudev's saying, don't be weak, you know, don't be weak and keep strong. And sometimes when the devotees depart, then when this realization comes, then only then, even for some of us, this strength is coming, you know. So yeah, it's very important to be with the Vaishnavas and pray for their mercy. So thank you
so much, Nalini. That was so sweet. I really loved when you spoke about the girly mood that she would have, because she was just so free in herself and so clear and just not on any kind of trip or anything, you know. And I think she felt comfortable around us and we all felt comfortable around her. That was just such a nice scene that you reminded me of. And what was the, oh, I love the story about the samosas. I think I ate too many samosas. Your mother would cook. That was lovely. Thank you so much. It's getting a bit late now.
Thanks.
But thank you so much, everyone. And Radha, please, we would like to hear something from you also.
Jagadananda, if we're getting late, I'm absolutely okay to hold back. But if you would like for me to share something, I can maybe share something for 2 minutes. I don't have much to offer, so hopefully only last 2 minutes anyways.
Yeah, please do.
Okay. Om Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurunmiltam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namo Namaha. I want to offer my humble obeisances unto my Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedanta Maharaj, my Shiksha Gurus and Diksha Gurus, Srila Bhaktivedanta Madhav Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Jivanacharya Maharaj, and our most beloved Srimati Umarani Didi, whose divine disappearance it is today. Yeah, I don't speak often, but I pray that something I'm able to absorb from my own words. It will take 1,000 mouths and 1,000 lifetimes to glorify our Srimati Umarani Didi. And I've been seeing all the Puspanjalis online, people's pastimes with her, and she's just something so unique, something that we're so lucky that we have and continue to have, no matter whether her physical appearance is here or not. We know that she's here. I don't know, I'm hearing everyone's pastimes, I'm feeling so bittersweet. I feel really happy because it's making me realize how many wonderful interactions I had with Uma Didi that I maybe had taken for granted beforehand. And as everyone was speaking about their pastimes, so many kind of memories was coming up for me, and interactions that I had, and I was thinking, oh my gosh, which one would I speak about? They've all carry some kind of wonderful weight and some wonderful moral and something about Uma Didi that everyone can just resonate with. And even now I'm kind of stumped as to what to speak about. But one thing that I can say is for me and Yashodhara Didi, whenever we would go to Vrindavan program or Rajmandal program or even Navadvip program, the first thing that we would do is take obeisances of Srila Gurudev, and then we'd go straight to Uma Didi's room. We didn't even want to unpack. We just wanted to go straight to Uma Didi's room and take her darshan and get her blessings to continue to do the parikrama. And she would be waiting for us. Oh.
Sorry, I'm trying to. Go ahead. Sorry.
And yeah, many times Uma Didi would be waiting for us, and it's like she had these additional senses. She had like eyes in the back of her head, and we always knew that her room was downstairs. And I remember one time we didn't go to her room. We actually went and put our suitcases away, and then we came down and was on our way to see her, and we was kind of interrupted by some other devotees along the way, and we were speaking to some devotees that we'd never really met, but they were trying to make conversation with us, and obviously our intention was to go straight to Uma Didi and get her darshan. And yeah, the interactions were very bizarre, a very bizarre interaction. But anyways, we continued towards Uma Didi's room, and she told us that she'd been watching us from the window. And she said that, you know, I saw who you were speaking to, and I was wondering whether you was going to come to me. And she was giving us guidance. She was telling us, you know, this is the type of people you should speak to, and these are the type of people that you shouldn't speak to. So even the first moment we saw her, she was giving us guidance on the association we should take and the association we shouldn't take. And this is our Uma Didi in a nutshell. No matter what, I can say firmly that she always kept me and my sister under her shelter. She always cared for us. She always wanted to direct us in a path that was best for Srila Gurudev, and that would guide us towards our ultimate goal. And whenever we would stray and go to another direction or do something that we were so naive and we didn't realize was not beneficial to our bhakti, she would immediately rein us back in and pull us in and pull us and direct us back onto this path. And Uma Didi was I'll just mention one other person that just kind of comes to my mind. She is just like Srila Bhakti Geshe Goswami Maharaj. She's very lion-like. And like Yeshadari said, even in her last moments, she's fighting to take the mask off. And even though she knew that it was beneficial for her, she didn't want it. She was very stubborn in that sense. But at the same time, she was so soft and warm-hearted, like a lotus flower. And I remember we was hosting one event at our home. We was hosting Uma Didi, and my mom, she's not very warm-hearted. Like she's warm-hearted to those around her, but she's quite closed off to new people. And we was hosting Uma Didi, and there was some kind of anxieties around how it would go. And it's so funny because by the end of the program, my mom's heart had melted, and she said to me, she goes, "Is it weird because I really just want to hug her?" And she was like, "Am I allowed to do that?" And I was kind of like, I don't know if you're allowed to do that. I mean, it's Uma Didi. We kind of interact with her however we want, but why not? And I remember someone had asked, I think we asked Uma Didi, "Oh, can my mom take a picture with you?" And she goes, "Oh yeah, of course." And she pulled my mom onto the seat beside, and she put her arm around her and hugged her. So it's as if she knew that my mom wanted the hug, and she gave her the hug. And just like that, she's the mother of all mothers. She's the melter of the most coldest hearts, and she's the director of the most strayed. And she's always through her words, through her actions, through her service, for her simplicity, is always giving us the guidance on how we should be. Anyways, I don't want to take too much time. There's so much that I can say on Uma Didi, but as I said, I'm not much of a speaker, and I can only speak on the pastimes that I've experienced with her, and the small moments and the interactions that I've had with her, which now I pray onto her lotus feet. May I never forget these. May I be able to remember every kind of interaction that we have had. And may I keep your instructions at the core of my heart and take this forward. And keep perhaps even an ounce of the nishta and the simplicity and the service that she continued to show throughout her life. Sorry, I'll stop here. Vanchakarpatrupascha Kripasindhupyavcha Pathanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha.
Oh, my dear, please, Radha, I'm so sorry if I made you feel rushed. I shouldn't have been. I shouldn't be like that. You say you're not a speaker, but to me, I don't know. I got so much from your sharing. It was just flowing, and your love for Uma Didi was flowing. And I love the story about your mom not being so welcoming to outsiders, and then how her heart melted with Uma Didi and how Uma Didi hugged her. That was just so wonderful. And I'm also hearing how you felt very sheltered. You and your sister felt very, very sheltered and guided from the very moment you first met her.
Thank you.
That was so beautiful.
Thank you for giving me an opportunity to just speak on her, even if it's for my own glorification. But either way, remembering her in itself is a service and something I hope to continue to carry forward. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we're going to do another Zoom gathering tomorrow at around 4. If you're able to come in, I don't know, but it would be lovely because you have more to share with us.
I'll definitely attend.
Okay.
I'll probably listen more, but thank you so much, Jagatam Didi.
We want to hear from you more also. I just wanted to say something. I as always, I think, oh, I don't have that much to share, but then I realized that there was very special moments that I experienced. Om Gyana Timirandasya Ginanjana Shalakaya Chakshur Militam Jaina Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Jai Shila Prabhupada, Jai Shila Gurudev. One of those moments was when she came to Bhaktivedanta Manor. She came for a visit. She took darshan of the deities. And I remember it so clearly and so vividly. On that day, after she took darshan, she came out of the temple in the back where the big back lawn is. Those of you who've been to the manor know that area. And there's a bench right outside the back entrance of the manor. And she sat down on the bench, and it was very, very sunny that day. And she was just sitting there on the bench, soaking up the sun. And I got the feeling that she was feeling very like mother to everyone there in the ISKCON temple. It was like that motherly mood was just spreading to everyone, even though people didn't know her. And so a friend of mine was coming up the walk, and I said, oh, Uma Didi's here. He had never met her before, but he had only heard about her. That was Ramna Sringa Prabhu. I think he's still with us. And as soon as he saw her, and I've never seen him do this ever with anyone else, as soon as he saw her, he fell in full Dandavat Pranams on the cement because, you know, she was outside, sitting outside on the bench, full Dandavat Pranams on the cement with his head down and touching her feet. And I thought, wow, that was just something that pulled him to do that. Yeah, that was so nice. And I felt like in a way, he was an ambassador for the whole rest of the devotee community who didn't know her glories and who didn't know to pay their obeisances to her on that day. And the only other thing that I remember was that somehow, you know, you've often, many devotees tonight have spoken about her love and affection, her caring for the devotees. And I feel like I didn't have that much of a relationship with her, but she actually took me aside, and she in Navadvip, and she took me to meet her Gurudev, Srila Vaman Maharaj. She pulled me along, and it was just so sweet and thoughtful of her. And she took me up to his room and gave me the opportunity to pay obeisance to him and to get his darshan. And he spoke so sweetly. They were kind of having a conversation between them in Hindi, and I was just sitting there, just soaking up that time that they were sharing with each other. She was like a little girl with him, and she was asking questions. She never failed to take the opportunity to ask questions, even though maybe she hadn't seen him for a while. As soon as she came in, she was introducing questions, and they were sharing back and forth. And it was a really lovely moment for me. And I felt like, wow, she was acting like a friend to me to take me to meet Vaman Maharaj, even though I had so many blockages in my own bhakti at that time. So I just wanted to share that small little thing. So, wow, thank you. I mean, this Zoom group goes from 5 till 6 every evening, and it's now 7:30 nearly. But I'm so much appreciating everybody's presence here and how everybody shared so sweetly. Thank you so much. Yeah, until tomorrow. Normally when we finish our Zooms, we chant Hare Krishna a couple times. So Nalini, would you like to chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra for us? Just for 2 or 3 mantras.
Yeah, okay. Just get my cartels.
Oh, before you start, Nikunja, could you look on the chat and write down the number of Madhuvrat? He posted that because I can't see because of my surgery. Could you write that number down? His name's Madhuvrat. He wrote his phone number down on the chat. Oh, seems like you've frozen. Can you, Nikunja, is that okay?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just looking and I'm not seeing.
I think you have to scroll up a little bit.
I don't see it there either. I've had a look. I posted something on there and he spoke after that and there's nothing in between from him.
Can you put his number up?
No.
Doesn't look like it.
Oh, I thought I saw somebody's phone number there. Okay. Anyway, thank you both. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, my Dandavat Pranams. I didn't want to create any confusion. I sent a direct message, so only you can read it.
Oh, you sent it to me and I can't read it. I'm sorry.
Hare Krishna,
I'll copy it and save it for you, Jagatam.
But he sent it directly to me, so you won't be able to see it. Can you put it in the...
I sent one direct message also to her. Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I got it, yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Thank you.
Jagatam, I thought it was at 5. I'm sorry. I didn't realize it was at 4:45 today. I'm sorry.
At least it was so nice you came in, Manasini.
It's beautiful. It's been lovely listening.
Hearing all this beautiful katha, you must be feeling better. Yeah? Are you feeling better? Manasini?
Sorry?
Are you feeling any better?
I've got a really bad flu. It's probably flu. But yeah, it's okay. It's fine. It's just a body.
Okay.
Jagatam Didi, will you send us the link to this recording?
Yes, I'll put it on the Nectar group and I'll put it on the Bhakti Sangha group and the mantra meditation group. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Nalini.
Yeah. So to sing some Maha Mantra, yeah?
Just 2 or 3 times, yeah.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe, 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 Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe, Radhe Radhe Radhe, Jai 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 Shri Radhe. Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Gurudeva, Jaya Gurudeva, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Srila Narayan Goswami, Jaya Gurudeva, Trivikram Goswami, Jaya Gurudeva, Srila Vamana Goswami, Jaya Gurudeva, Vamana Goswami, Jaya Gurudeva, Srila Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Goswami, Bhakti Pragyana Keshava Goswami, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Ohe Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnav Thakur, Jaya Vaishnav Thakur, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. Shrimati Uma Didi ki jai,
Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Shrimati Uma Didi ki jai, all the assembled devotees ki jai.
Radhe Radhe.
Hari Hari Bol. Thank you so much, everybody, for your beautiful presence. All those who spoke and all those who were receptively listening. See you tomorrow, hopefully. Radhe Radhe.
Thank you for arranging the program.
Yeah. It's mercy, you know. It was Naveen Krishna supposed to give class on our group tonight, and he said, why don't we speak about Uma Didi? And I'm really glad he said that, because I was thinking the same thing. So it was really wonderful to do that. Otherwise, our hearts would be unsatisfied.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Jai Shri Radhe.
Radhe Radhe, Hari Bol.
Thank you, Nikunja.
Radhe Radhe.
Anu Vilasini coming. Sham Prabhu.
Haribol, thank you for organizing and thank you everyone for sharing. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Ramna Singha Prabhu's, David, Haribol, and Braj Kishore, Anu Vilasini, Manisini. Haribol, Jai Shri Radhe.
Well, Jagatam, thank you so much for arranging this. Haribol.
I think I'm going to ask the Ganga Matas to come on our group tomorrow.
Oh, that would be amazing.
And Yashoda Nandan. And yeah, at least them. Yeah.
Is it 4 o'clock tomorrow now?
Yeah.
Okay, 4 o'clock.
Okay. 4 o'clock. Haribol. Thank you, Jagatam.
Okay.
Haribol, I'm suffering from separation anxiety now, but I have to go.
Okay.
I have to.
Ready.
Ready.